All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Matt from Honor Coffee. I hope you're great. Thank you for being patient with us for a few minutes as we navigated a few technical challenges. Just want to welcome everyone to the world first webinar of Geisha. Now, this is a super exciting event and initiative and many things for Brazil Coffee. Live today, we're going to do a deep dive, pardon the pun, on the Geisha pearls with the gentleman that made the magic happen. So today here in Sydney, we have Sasha, Sestic and Luiz. Paulo. How are you, gentlemen? Fantastic. It's great to see you. And thank you so much for being here, especially Luiz for coming all the way around the world and share these amazing coffees. So yeah, today, guys, we're going to do a deep dive. We've got the coffees here that the gentleman will be tasting and going through them step by step. It's going to be really exciting to understand the world of AMA, the processing, the flavor profiles, the intention of this project, not just flavor, but what's the meaning behind this amazing initiative. So we're going to dive into that and then hear straight from the horse's mouth. A little bit of housekeeping. This will go for around an hour today. There'll be a live chat that'll come up. So some of the questions will be prompted from you out there, and I'll facilitate those with Sasha and Luiz. It'll be a really free flow style chat. This is a conversation literally in our living room, nice and casual and engaging. So feel free to bring everything forward that you might be thinking about. And we just want to have a really good time and leave here understanding everything about the world of Geisha Brazil Coffee and this amazing project. So fantastic. We might kick into it by a little bit of intro. I know the world of coffee will know you, gentlemen, but if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourselves, and then we can go into the collaboration piece and keep diving in from there.
Hey everyone, hope you're going well at home, and I hope you have your coffee in front of you. If not, it's okay. My name is Sestic. I'm the founder and director of Honor Coffee. And I like coffee. I'm coffee obsessed. Many people would know me as a person who travels on the farms, collaborates with amazing people like Luiz, Paulo, and we try to make coffee as best as possible from the farm level, coffee obsessed, and grateful to be here with you today. My name is Luiz Paulo. I'm from Brazil, exactly from Venezuela. I'm in the fourth generation as a coffee producer. I started with coffee in 2000. And luckily, in 2011, we met this guy and we started a very strong relationship until now. And then 2 years, we had the first conversation to start to promote Brazilian Geisha. And now, here we are, and Sasha can explain you better what we have here today. Luiz Paulo is our first relationship in our coffee, so we use his coffees in one of our plants. We have it for so many years, and for so many years, because we have a great relationship. Coffee is always consistent, great. We do great business. For quite a few years, I did not actually go to Brazil. And from here, because things are good, we did not need to do much more work. And I remember Luiz was very consistent. It's not when you're going to come to Brazil, when you're going to come to Brazil, we have new varietals, we have regionalities, we have Geisha, we have Sasa. So I think it made me think of the Brazil that I should actually go to Brazil, which was, I think, after so many years, I was there 2.5 years ago now, right? And I do remember. We had a lot of fun. I think the first 2 days we cut 700 different bowls of coffee and it's actually caffeinated, doing a lot of jumps on the camera. Coffee and energy was really high, was really exciting. And we would start saying, well, I want to talk to you. I planted so much Geisha here, there's 100 hectares of Geisha. 130, and he goes, would you like to be part of it? Would you like to work with us with the processing, with the grind, obviously, in order to allow these coffees to get something special. So that's how the project started. As we always do, we usually sign a business agreement in the webpins of these 60 papers. So this is how this one started.
Like all good business plans, Sash, right? On the back of a napkin. Absolutely, I know they've continued on in your many years of business. Louise, would you be able to also just expand a little bit on what the collaboration means to you? I know it's very personal. I know you guys have known each other for a long time and created some magic out of it, not just now, but in the past. What does it mean to you to do this project with Sash and really continue to elevate and evolve Brazil coffee?
I think it's for people understand why I like the word concession. Then I can explain how we start our first business. Our first business, we sent the coffee to Australia without any paper, without any payment. We just trust each other. Since in the beginning, Sasha and Luiz was just starting, and then we were two guys passionate for coffee. Since then, we have a very, very good relation. We are friends. We trust in each other. I think Sasha is the best person. He knows a lot about the coffee process. He knows a lot about the marketing. And why not join our force? We had an amazing Geisha production, and he knows how to promote, how to process. And I really believe if we work together, we can put Brazil in a different step.
That's amazing. Um, Now that we know the heroes behind this amazing project, I'd love to know more about this project. So, guys, how was Amma born? You've done lots of things together over a long period of time. Tell us about Amma. Tell us about the ideation, coming to life. Where did it all start?
Why Amma?
Absolutely, why?
Why Sasha? Why Julia?
That's it. That's the one. Yes.
So yeah, so Anna is a female diver from Japan, diving for pearls, and we were very impressed with the story, with the ladies going diving underwater without special equipment and actually going and looking for the best pearls. We really associated with that story, and we feel that these heroes they need to be celebrated more and we have an intention to look for best Brazilian pearls, best coffees. So it was not really hard for us to come up with that name. What's really cool is when you look at this little lucky scarf. So they would wear this scarf and they're going diving as a lucky charm. I think we incorporated this logo with all of the like little lines that reminds us of a flavor wheel, different colors, different flavors, and we really wanted to tell that best Brazilian terroir, best possible geisha coffee from Brazil throughout this verse and throughout this story. Talking about that, if you have some coffees in front of you, feel free to start pouring them. I'm gonna start pouring hot water, and as we talk about the coffees, we're gonna have a lot of fun because we'll be able to taste coffees, and as we go a little bit more technical, we'll say, "Hey, we tasted this because of that or because of that." If you don't have your coffees in front of you, but this will be recorded, so maybe you can rewatch it again while you're tasting your coffees, so we can have this beautiful interaction together online. Also, in the meantime, as we're talking about the coffees, feel free to put some questions there, some comments. And for the last part of the section, you can use that time to really interact and answer some of the questions you can raise. Cool. Yes.
So, what are you starting with, Sash? What are you pouring first?
So we're going to be pouring Akoya as our first pearl.
Nice.
And but before we talk about that, I actually would love, Luiz, to talk a little bit about in general, your Brazil terroir, like from where you are, from Cama de Minas, because I fell in love with that region many years ago. I'd like you to explain to all of us difference between altitude, latitude, because it's really important for all of our viewers to understand, and different geisha varietals that you brought and some of the funny stories where you got this coffee from.
We are in Cabo de Minas area. Normally we have a high altitude, but it's better to explain where we have good altitude and latitude. We have a 1200 liters between 1200 1500 meters is our plantation. but we are in latitude 22 and 23, who represent something like 500 meters more comparing to some coffees below 11 degrees in the equator line. What represent, except one coffee in Carmel, 1200 meters, represent 1700 meters compared to Central America. Normally, the weather in Carmel, we have a very nice temperature for coffee. Our terroir is incredible. If you check the Campo Vax's result, the majority of the winners are coming from our areas.
Yes.
We have probably until now one of the highest Campo Vax's score forever. We had one Rainbow Ball in 2005 from Santa Ynez Farm with a score 95.86. That's an incredible score.
Nice. Nice. And the geisha trees are coming from?
Yeah, we have some different geishas from Tanzania, from Costa Rica, from Colombia, from Honduras, and from Panama. And then from these seeds, we start to do our own selection. Now we are in our fourth genetic selection, but the majority of our geishas came from Panama. The green tip geisha came from Jensen Farm.
So a little bit explanation, green tip geisha, bronze tip geisha in general. So what this means is that we have a coffee tree, and the tips of the coffee trees would have a small, either bronze color leaves, like very young leaves, and then as these leaves mature, they turn more in a green. So for us, it's fairly easy to recognize when we go on a farm. We can see the tip of the branches, and we can see, well, that's actually geisha because we can recognize the tree. The tree is very long, and the branches are kind of more the 90 degrees sort of facing. And the geisha trees that don't really have as many secondary branches. So we have a stem, and the branches are going more like sort of these Christmas trees. And then on the tip, you'll have a bronze tip or green tip. Bronze tip taste usually like more fruity, less
But in general, for us in Brazil, the best one is the green tip.
And green tip geisha, not only in Brazil, but in my opinion, all over the world. The green tip is the more preferred one. I've had an opportunity to taste the same green tip, bronze tip on the same farms in so many different countries. And the green tip has a lot more elevated florals, green, sort of jasmine tea, and there's sort of more of that sparkling note as opposed to bronze tip, a bit more rounder, sweeter, more fruity, but less more. So now I'd like you to also mention, because there's 130 hectares of geisha, we have so many different, I guess there are some there. Like
Yes.
a friend to the north is absolutely in love with the Mata forest, yes. So there's about 20 something hectares of Mata.
28 hectares at the Mata.
And what's beautiful for me, that's not usual for Brazil, because when we are in the Mata forest, we can look up and it's all covered with the shade, a lot of density. So what's your favorite part of the farm?
Hey, brother, for me, the best part in the farm is when we started, I chose one place, the highest area. We say the Panamanian area, where I planted the first seeds. And then Michael Jensen came from Panama for the baptism of my daughter, and he helped me to choose the best place to start my geisha plantation. And for sure, this is my favorite area. Not favorite area, but because my history with geisha is start on that area.
Nice. Yeah, and I think beauty with your with the AMA project is there's a capacity to do how much coffee?
I think in the near future, more 1 or 2 years, we can produce 4,000 bags of fish.
4,000 bags. I'm not quite sure production in Panama, but I think entire Panama would have a similar production like what's possible with AMA. And one of the main reasons for me personally why it was exciting to be part of this project is our goal is to make coffee geisha more accessible. And it's really important because we talk a lot about geisha. Geisha word is commonly used in barista competitions, in brewers competitions. And a lot of us coffee professionals, we buy these coffees, but we kind of buy it and we sell it in the competitions over the cafes. And also a lot of end consumers, they don't really have access for these coffees as much due to small quantities, due to possibly really high prices, and allocation of these coffees. It's really hard to get. So I think for us, exciting thing with the application project was that we can share these coffees with so many people globally, and also we can celebrate Brazilian geisha, and I think some of us, when we taste geisha from Panama, we can expect certain flavor profile. We can expect a lot of jasmine, a lot of floral, a lot of light notes, some fairly elevated, exciting, sparkling acidity. Matt Louis loves to call this coffee champagne of coffee, right? There you go. But I think when we talk about Brazil geisha, we should be looking at what are the things that we love about Brazil coffee. Sweetness, texture, tropical notes, that beautiful kind of yellow Bourbon flavors that we get, and really allow this to be foundation of the coffee. And throughout the different processing techniques, which we're going to talk very soon about, we can explore different floral notes. But I think you'll notice with a lot of these coffees, there's a lot of balance, there's a lot of sweetness, a lot of texture, a lot of body in these coffees. So, Barry, should we talk about coffees?
Are they ready to be talked about such?
Yeah, ready. Here we can take some thing out and I'll go one by one.
Yeah, beautiful. The greatest start at the beginning, and I imagine that's a Koya.
This is a Koya. Yes. Luiz, Paulo, we can have a quick here for you. Let us know what you like about this coffee. What do you like?
So just to give some context, so a Koya, in terms of the colour profiles and the colour spectrum, is that what we essentially begin?
Yeah, this is beginning, right?
Yes. This is the first year. We are just starting. This year we did a lot of tests, and here you can see the best ones we select. For sure, the second year of the project, we can do more process, but including these ones, we can improve the quantities. Good ones like this.
Becca, do you mind putting a little presentation that we have? I think we have a slide where we are showing how coffees are drawn very fast. A little on the presentation. Thank you very much. Okay. So this is not on TV now. Beautiful. All right. So what you can see in front of the screen, we had a lot of fun designing this. So all of these coffees that you can actually see on the screen, we made about 10 to 12 different ways to chase for this acquired profile. As you can see on the screen, all of the coffees are pulped. We've done first 5-6 coffees by using inoculation. So we pick the red cherries and then we pulp the coffees. And then we place the coffees in a in plastic container, and we flush the coffees as we've written here with the CO2. So 3 days flushed. Out of all of these coffees, none of them actually made it because we did not get enough flavor intensity. We did not get enough florals. We did not get enough of that sort of fruity notes that we are really after from a Koya. I'd invite you to have another sip in this coffee if you are tasting it. So in order to give us this, for me, it's almost like chamomile sweetness. Chamomile florals, honey, white honey. There's a bit of nectarine, like really nice sweet orange. So these are the indications of this wash process geisha that we would like. Of course, we both would like more jasmine. And that's something we're going to be working towards next year. But we are happy to present this coffee with these beautiful white florals, with the chamomile notes. But the way we've achieved that is we actually needed to put the whole cherry coffee in the fermentation tank. As you can see, all of the profiles that we have there on the screen, none of them have given us enough flavor intensity. They have not given us enough of these floral notes. So by placing the coffee into the whole cherry for 3 days, keep flushing the coffee every single day. After 3 days, we drop the pH from 5.5 to about 3.9. That's when we knew that coffee is ready to be fermented. Then we depulp the coffee, and then we dry the coffee completely pulped, so without cherry. And this has allowed us to shine these yellow fruits, white stone fruits. We did not really get any of these dark aroma colors.
And Sasha, one very important point to mention, who normally you're talking about young trees, and the geisha profile takes some time to start to present the real taste of geisha, floral, jasmine, and for sure, year by year, the coffees start to present more the real geisha flavor.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember when we started a project with James and Savage with Iris Estate in Panama. So it's the fund we started in 2017. 2016, 2017, and Matt Ruin competed in Boston for representing Australian barista competition. 3 years later, we had a first picking of our geisha coffee. So we had a very small harvest, even though farm was like 40 plus hectares, we had like 600 grams of cherries. And Jay goes, Sash, we're gonna drink it in Boston together. I'm not gonna drink it on my own. So he brought the coffees, we brewed it, and all we could taste is sweetness and balance. There were no jasmine notes, there was no florals. It had intense sweetness, but it's really sweet, but it does not have the flavor. And then year by year, we get more jasmine and more jasmine and more jasmine. And now we feel the farm is absolute crap. So is this common that you find with the geisha trees as well as so many other trees in Brazil? And how many years you feel that coffee needs to harvest before it starts becoming more mature?
I think at least 5 years, because we can see easily the difference between the first trees we planted directly from Panama and then the younger ones.
Yeah.
The older ones, they present much more flavor compared to the younger ones.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, should we try Alicia? Alicia. What do we taste?
Sweet. I felt more floral.
Mm-hmm. Some apricots, some more yellow notes. Yeah. So this coffee is it's going to be interesting with the Alcoya. As I mentioned, we've done the CM cold cherry, and then coffee was pulped. But Alicia is the nitrogen coffee, fermented for 4 days, and then slowly dried as natural. Let's talk a little bit about your drying, about your blue room, as we call it.
Yeah, the idea with the blue room, we can reduce the ultraviolet effect, and then for sure we keep the coffee more alive. We don't destroy the seals, the coffee, and then we are looking to keep the coffee with more profile and for sure not clean.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think having a bit of that clarity and that sweetness of these beautiful yellow fruits are really speaking nicely. So this is the first time we've done nitrogen flushing, and we found that nitrogen flushing has helped with the clarity of the cup and provided really nice clean taste. Right, let's take about. Is there any questions about these coffees? And anyone commenting or any notes from if anyone is tasting any of the coffees? Maybe people can write down some notes because they can trigger us to understand and talk about particular flavor profile and why we're getting it in the cup.
Yeah. We also be doing that nitro as well, guys.
Nitro. All right. Well, I think this is going to be nice little story. So what I would love people to taste, I'd love us to taste. We're going to skip a little bit, but let's taste Ruby and let's taste Lilac. So Ruby coffee is a classic CM process with CO2 flushing. And it's a 5-day fermentation. a lot of our customers that are used on buying a raspberry candy, a lot of our raspberry candy, about 40 or 50% of that coffee we would have with this same fermentation, but of course we do it in Ethiopia. So what we found with when we're doing a CO2 flushing, when I say we're doing the CO2 flushing, so we're placing the cherries in the tank, and every single day, at least once a day, I think we've done flushing twice a day. But at least once a day, we would flush these coffees with CO2. So little bit what's happening is when we pick the cherries from the tree, roughly we have bricks or sugars between 15 to 20, more or less. And we place these coffees in a fermentation tank. Now, the reason we are placing in the fermentation tank and we actually flushing CO2 straight away is because we want to make sure that we can remove that oxygen. So without oxygen, coffee is going to ferment longer. The way we measure it, we would place the pH meter inside of the next to the cherries. And usually when we pick fresh cherries, pH is sitting at about 5.5, 5.6, 5.9. And then we monitor pH on daily basis. With the oxygen, pH drops faster. So we cannot ferment coffee without oxygen by flushing the CO2 daily. pH drops a lot slower. So we can extend the fermentation time without really making that alcohol acidity to dominate the cup. So we want to avoid that vinegar notes. And this is the basic way how we do a carbonic maceration. When we do carbonic maceration, we try to do it in a controlled environment. And this year, we did not necessarily do it in as controlled environment as we will next year. So we had a really nice covered place, but temperatures were probably 24 to 18.
Yeah, exactly.
So next year, we're looking to have a cold room, consistent temperature. And with the consistent temperatures means we have the same microorganisms, same bacteria, giving us the same result every time. Now, next coffee, if we have a taste, which is lilac. This coffee is interesting. And I would love you to compare the clarity of the cup. Which one do you feel is more cleaner? Is it ruby or lilac? But let's just focus on clarity of the cup. So ruby is fermented for 5 days. Lilac is fermented for 7 days, extra 2 days. In my opinion, lilac is not cleaner coffee.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Why? Okay. So let's talk about nitrogen. All right. So nitrogen flushing does beautiful things to coffee. And we feel that we've done nitrogen flushing back then. The first time I've done it in Philippines when I was consulting for great friend Michael Harris. And we've done a lot of nitrogen flushing, and coffees were that beautiful that their team decided to use it in local competition. It's the first time ever that Philippine coffee, local coffee, won barista competition. And the flavors were really, really clean. And then we go, wow, this. But back then in 2018, I think the trend of fermentation was not necessarily we want clean coffee. 2018, 2019, 2020, everyone wanted big, noisy coffees. A lot of flavor, a lot of booziness, right? So even though we've done it that long time ago, and coffee has done very well in competition, it was not very favored by customers. People love these bigger coffees. Then I saw a great friend, Jameson Savage, using a lot of nitrogen coffees. And we can see that the trend of the customers is changing. We can see that people like as much fruit as possible, but with as much clarity as possible. Fruity notes of naturals, but clarity of the washed. And this was our answer with the nitrogen coffees. Nitrogen coffee is now being very, very popular, very famous. The very first World Barista Championships coffee, or this World Barista Championships used by Michael Jason, is actually nitrogen flush coffee from Denver. So we're going to start seeing a lot of nitrogen coffees in our project in Brazil. But what's also nice and exciting here, not only that we have a different clarity of it, I believe the body is very different as well.
Yeah.
Lilac is more silky, smooth,
well balanced.
very well balanced. And then when we taste ruby, it's more creamier, more richer, more buttery, almost tasting a bit of that lactic acidity. And this lactic acidity is exciting because even this recipe is very similar. If anyone has tasted coffee from Irish Estate, and they call it Enigma process, and that coffee had insane amount of lactic. It's actually pretty much same process.
But I think the good point in our collection, because we have 5 different coffees, totally different, and the people can come and send us the feedback.
Yeah.
Because this feedback is going to help us to promote and provide more analysis for our next harvest.
Yeah, absolutely. And with what we've done about 70 experiments this year.
Yes.
And out of the 70 experiments, that's giving us a data not only the how we are changing the colors of the coffees, but textures and mouthfeels and balance of acidity. So it's given us really good vocabulary to sort of see how we can actually improve these profiles for next year. Another interesting note to add is, and if you taste coffee that's ruby, and just think of the 5-day fermentation. So we want to think of that these coffee cherries have been fermenting for 5 days. The skins of the cherries have been losing the pectinase from the cherries, being absorbed by the coffee itself, giving us this nice red fruits. Lilac, 7 days fermentation. So longer fermentation, more flavor, and shifting the colors. For me, lilac has this violet, purple notes, chocolatey, bit of raisin qualities as well.
Now, a difficult question for you. Which one is your favorite?
It's a good question. I think I like lilac.
Yeah.
You as well? Yeah. I think I like lilac because I like it because the coffee is very, very clean. And it has a nice florals, that sort of purple florals, that lovely raisiny notes, and it's very, very smooth, very silky.
Lilac, it is a crowd favourite. And Connor backstabs a question around lilac. How do you recommend brewing lilac to highlight its most delicate characteristics?
Yeah, that's a great one. So we've been brewing lilac. Nice. That's a good question. So a couple choices. If we wanna celebrate that body and sweetness and texture, 20 grams is a good start. But if you wish to concentrate to have a little bit more of these fruity elements, even dropping the dose to 18 grams will expose this fruity element out of the coffee. 93 degrees, 94 degrees is okay, and you keep it consistent throughout all of the pours. 60 grams in, first pour, second pour 60 grams, 60 grams, 60 grams, 60 grams. So 5 times 60 grams if you're working with 20-gram dose. And if you have paragon, I would encourage to do 3 pours with paragon. And these 3 pours, first 3 pours with paragon, would really bring out this beautiful florals, local florals than without paragon. But in the same time, it's going to elevate the acidity. This is why third pour. If you wish to have that acidity a little bit more elevated, do 3 pours. If you wish to have acidity pours more in the balance, maybe 2 pours with paragon would work as well. And 93 consistent temperature will be fine.
Amazing. Another question, guys, which connects from lilac to ruby, actually. Which do you believe has the most terroir between?
Let's
It's a good question.
Thank you, Angus Mackey.
Talking about terroir, I really believe for this one.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. We've actually done a coffee experience on my cassette this morning. And actually, the way we were presenting the coffees when we talk about carbon restoration process, we would start off with ruby. And we think it's a really good foundation. We have a sweetness, we have a texture, we have this nutty, chocolatey notes, and then these dried red fruits, almost like a cherry or cherry ripe, that are really, really complementing the coffee. And it presents the coffee very, very well. When we talk about Brazilian geisha, when we talk about Brazilian terroir, That's what it has. And then we talk about geisha, we just have these fruity layers on top. I believe that this ruby profile, in my opinion, it's a really good for milk-based coffees. So often, as a coffee professionals, or even like when we taste the coffees, we would cut the coffees, we could just give the points, we have flavor preferences, but we also want to think what's suitable for each one of these coffees. What's the more suitable way to use it? And in my opinion, it definitely will be a milk coffee. Just like what we've done with Akoya for an espresso, and lilac, I think we can do filter with it.
And ruby with milk.
Ruby with milk.
I agree.
Nice. Well, if we continue on with that theme of really identifying certain questions for coffees, how would you highlight blush in the middle there? How would we celebrate this coffee? What is the story that it can't tell us?
Taste. Good.
We can feel sweetness. This coffee for me has a strong body, but it's still very, very delicate. In my opinion, this is the coffee who I really want to drink in a glass, a very fancy glass, enjoying the time. And then this is a really nice coffee to celebrate.
Yeah, and I think beauty with the coffee with the blush, it's got similar notes like ruby, but it's instead of this red fruity or deeper, rich fruits, it's more pink, almost like a raspberry lemonade. And we've actually made this coffee as a signature drink today. We and I would recommend you. It's very simple to make. We made Aperol spritz. That's the destination of the drink. So quick recipe. So we
Really good.
really good. If anyone has opportunity to come to our service in Canberra tomorrow, in Melbourne in a few days, you'll actually have, I think, non-alcoholic Aperol spritz. That's absolutely amazing. We use the blush as a foundation. So what we've done is 80 grams of tonic water.
Tonic water.
Then our second ingredient was really fun. Our second ingredient was coffee husk. So when we roast coffee, we create a lot of husk during the roasting cycle process. That sort of skin peels off, and we use that coffee husk with some water that gives us that beautiful kind of sweet malty taste. We put a little bit of vanilla in there, just a small amount, just to balance it, and a dash of strawberry puree. Just some strawberries that you can mix with the water. You can put them in the microwave. And and also the pour over was made 20 in, 300 grams out, and we used about 60 grams of coffee. So 80 grams of tonic water, 6 grams of a coffee husk. If you don't have a coffee husk, you can just have some of the vanilla sugar or some raw sugar, small amount to balance, and strawberry puree. Now, for me, what was amazing with this coffee is actually it tasted like intense orange. Aperol Spritz was pretty awesome.
As I told you, this is the coffee to celebrate.
Yeah,
It's really good.
so and that was that really synergy because all of these ingredients have helped to push these beautiful citrus notes out of the coffee that day and make it so refreshing and so fresh. So if you're in Canberra, if you're in Melbourne, please come over and see us. If not, maybe you can ask our team to send the recipe again because maybe I missed a couple of things, and I would encourage you to make it sound very refreshing, very beautiful.
That was a beautiful celebration of blush. I think if we continue on and we finish off, right, the cups are evolving, they're cooling, the flavour, but the story, what are they telling us? So I've got another question around names, but we'll get to that. Alicia, beautiful coffee. We're sort of tasting the rainbow here. We're moving into yellow. What's the story that Alicia's telling us now?
Thoughts?
This coffee, all the times when the temperature is a little bit cooler, it's, yeah, it's difficult to choose between Alicia than Lilac.
Yeah. So
Depending on the situation, but it's both golf are incredible.
you remember 2011 when I came to Singapore, first time in Kano, and we were sitting in front of the coffee shop. You made me a plunger, French press, and suddenly I tasted this super sweet yellow fruits. Whether it's yellow corns, yellow apricot or peach, and kind of baked pineapple notes as well. For me, this is what I'm tasting here. I'm tasting a lot of yellow fruits, but it's not fresh fruit. It's very sweet. It's almost like yellow jams. It's very round. It's very yellow, and it represents that yellow bourbon. Even though we'll be talking Geisha, but it really represents Kamo as the
Yeah. One,
region.
one point who I think is very important to mention because what we are doing, we are trying to create a different terroir for geisha. Because of course, I'm a big friend of the Panamanian guys. We are not planting geisha in Brazil to compete with Panama, to compete with the other place, but we want to use the expertise of Sasha's in terms of process and then combine with the Brazilian terroir. The main idea is we create a new profile of geisha. We hope we can surprise them with the new Brazilian geisha.
Yeah, and what's interesting when we taste blush. So blush is a 4 days CO2 process, slowly dried on raised beds. Alicia is a 4 days nitrogen process. So coffee is picked in the same day, exactly the same day actually.
It's good to mention because the majority of the coffees here coming exactly from the
same day, same place, in the tanks, exactly same amount of time. The only difference is blush is a CO2 flush daily basis. Alicia is nitrogen flush daily basis. So have a taste. It's pretty interesting to see how flavors are very different. So what's next for us? What's next for our project? You want to share the story of when I was texting you 4 or 5 weeks ago, requesting for new innovations?
We have some surprise. Of course, we can give some spoiler.
Yeah.
We are trying to innovate with the new varieties. You want to mention or not?
Of course, absolutely, 100%.
Yes, I really believe we need to have new things in the market. And the new idea, we really wanted to improve the eugenoids. I want to start genetic selection of eugenoids in Brazil. We coupled some eugenoids last year in Brazil. Sasha coupled, and he gave 90 points. I'm so surprised because when we were copying, we coupled blinded, and then I was expecting that 90 point was some special geisha, and then the coffee was one eugenoides without any kind of process, and surprised us. And then eugenoides is a variety who nobody is producing around the world. I think one or two farms are investing in eugenoides, but I think the next goal for us is improve the eugenoid business. And then, what do you think, Anton?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I remember tasting that coffee was different style of fusion notice. It's not that doesn't have that like stevia sweetness. It was very white sugar sweetness, very tropical. Young trees, so we obviously will be looking forward to seeing how that evolves, how it develops. So yeah, really exciting. Another exciting thing is, if I may share, is Luis Paulo, I was asking Luis Paulo that how we can look at improving these coffees even further for 2025 from. And so we thought, well, okay, now that we understand how processing works, what each day does, what will the cup, do we pot them, do we not pot them, do we ferment for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, we can really understand the colors that we're getting from the coffees. But the next big step for us in the Dama project is really drying. And drying, so Luis Paulo managed to get a beautiful house with a full 3 4 bedroom, 3 4 big rooms. And our goal is here that in 2025 we're going to be experimenting with drying houses at different temperatures, uh, different humidities, in order to see if we slow down drying process or if we speed up or we actually take a pause on the drying for a number of days, how that's going to impact the taste profile. And obviously with the thing in mind that how do we improve each one of these, not only through the fermentation and processing, but also drying.
For sure. The main idea, we really wanted to do all the best for the Brazilian coffees to check what's the massive the potential we can produce in Brazil, and show you what is we can organize, join force, and then doing the best process, doing the best with the best varietals, using a very nice terroir coming from different areas in Brazil. And hope you can enjoy with us. News are coming.
Yeah, exactly. And what's exciting for those of you that working with Tona Coffee or you buy a coffee online, in the coming few weeks, few months, we're going to have a few different coffees from AMA project. We're going to be showcasing them as super wash coffees, naturals. So not the pearls itself, because in AMA we have 3 different selections. We have what we call like foundation selection, wash coffees, natural coffees, anaerobics. And we're going to be featured quite a few of these coffees in our espressos, in our single origin filters. And then we have a pearl selection, which is what we're tasting now, what we're tasting at home. And for the future, there we go. Thanks, Mecca. And for the future, we're going to have this elite selection, what we call it. Last year, we were lucky enough to invite a great friend to the Norizaki, crazy Japanese mate. And he really fell in love with the part of the farm. He fell in love with that part of the farm. There's a lot of forest. And Hidenori Izaki is going to be collaborating with us in order to bring as most floral, as most delicate coffees from that part of the farm. So not only that we are just focusing on getting the cherries from all over the mountains and focusing on the different fermentations, but we're trying to isolate what part of the farm has the best potential to either give us the red fruits, the yellow fruits, and then we're using that as a starting point. And then from there onwards, we are doing the curated fermentation and processing. And in 2025, taking these coffees to special drying conditions in order to maximize that. So it's going to be exciting. Yeah, a lot more R&D in 2025. And yeah, keep chasing that flavor in the best possible way we can.
That's awesome, guys. Well, we've got the past, present, and
the future.
Which is a lovely way to wrap up. There's so much to take away. Thank you guys so much for adding so much value and understanding how from end to end. As Sasha touched on, what else is there? We're running the Honor Case sessions in each of our retail stores. That is New South Wales, Canberra, Melbourne, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that is happening with these amazing signature drinks and experience. And then beyond that as well, where can people access these coffees around the world?
Where can people access outside of our coffee?
This project is an inclusive project. Everybody who wants to work with AMA, just send a message to us for Sasha or for us. And then we have an honor to organize in ways of distributor around the world where can you access for coffees.
Yeah, through Camo Coffee Direct, through Project Origin team as well. If you are a coffee roaster, we'd love to hear from you. at this end of this year, we are going to be organizing a
Nice event.
nice event. Where we're gonna have people coming from all over the world and doing a lot of good activities on farm level. Also being able to taste selection of farmer coffees and being able to be part of it. And you will also be able to see Luiz, Paulo, and myself and our team in Geneva this year. We're going to be presenting the coffees in Jakarta. And I'm sure that your Japan, yeah, Japan. And I'm sure the Camel Coffee team will be all over the world as well as a PO team as well. Honor Coffees are going to continuously keep supporting this project. We believe in it. We know that we have a big dreams and we have a big ambitions. We love people to enjoy Brazil coffees for elegant, refined, very colorful taste. This is only the beginning with this, and we also kind of want to change the perception of what people think that Brazil coffees can be and they are. And big credit to you because I think when we make coffees like as a baristas, for example. When someone is asking the recipe, it takes 2-3 minutes to brew this cup. If I don't like it, I can brew it again. I can change the recipe. When we're roasting coffees, it takes 10 minutes. And if you don't like the roast profile, we change it again. But Luiz Paulo has invested years and years taking this varietals, this species, planting it to your farm and waiting 1, 2, 3, 4 years before he even gets the results. So I'm very, it's my honor to work with you. It's my honor to be your friend. And I'm actually, you are a visionary man. And it takes a lot of risk, a lot of hard work, and a lot of patience to go, wow, should I plant this varietal or should I not? So it's my honor to work with you. And I think you're doing wonderful things for World of Coffee. You're doing wonderful things for Brazil. And we are very lucky to be able to feature your coffees. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, guys. This has been amazing. And this is just the beginning of the conversation. So everyone out there in the world wide web, reach out, connect. Let's continue chatting. Geisha, let's continue to celebrate coffee and Brazil coffee. And thank you, everyone. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you for everyone viewing. And as I said, this is just the beginning of a really beautiful project. So much more to come.
Thank you very much. Cheers to everyone. Hope you enjoy the coffees, you enjoy the experience, and looking forward to staying in touch. Thank you.